Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to this other edition of Prime Hour, the last for the week, an edition that is dedicated to discussing in an exclusive interview with one of Cameroon's biggest influencers based in the United Kingdom. Her name is Singah. We know that she has been doing a lot to influence Cameroonians positively and Africans in general, help them learn a lot in many domains, and in the course of doing this job of an influencer, she has met so many challenges. We're going to be learning from her what it takes to be the type of blogger that she is, succeeding over the years, and also what it takes to overcome some of the bullying, some of the criticisms, and how to stay above the water in the middle of so many attacks. She's going to inspire us, also tell us some of the secrets that has made her stand out amongst the many social media users. We are glad to have you again on Prime Hour, Daily Singah. Hello, Deli. Good evening. We're glad to have you.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can get you. Can you unmute your device?
I think it's okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can get you now. I can get you. Do you get me?
Yes, I can get you 515. I'm sorry that you were completely muted at some point.
Okay. Like I said earlier on, you are one of Cameroon's biggest influencers. This edition is dedicated to finding out from you what it takes to stay on top of your job for so many years in the midst of many attacks and criticisms and a host of others. You're also going to be exposing to our televiewers your secret and what they need to do to stay distinguish themselves in whatever they are doing, like you have done so far. We are glad to have you once again on Prime Hour, the last edition for this week.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kum. I'm barely getting you, but of course I picked out some words from what you said. Hopefully that the technical crew can make things better. Thank you so much again for always saying one of the biggest influencers. It's an honor. I don't take that for granted. Yes, I've been an influencer for, I would say, a little over 6 years and counting. And it's been a Herculean task. But most importantly, it is exciting and entertaining. And you know, I don't feel bored. I don't feel like the journey is too hectic. I feel passionate about it because this is purpose. And if you understand what purpose is, you do that effortlessly, because when God calls you for a particular cause, he empowers you, he increases you, he gives you the support that you need to carry on to go through with that task. And this is exactly what I'm doing, and I'm doing it unapologetically.
How easy or challenging it is to be an influencer at your level as a Cameroonian?
Like I said, it is, of course, I get the challenges. My major thing that it doesn't really bother me is the fact that I know who I am, I know what I've been called for, I know whose I am, and so whatever challenge that comes, you know, I just shove it off, like, you know, what's not happening. But yes, of course, I will not sit here and say I don't face these challenges. I do face them. I face a lot of challenges, especially because of the media. The media is made up of every kind of person, and to influence, you should have a particular niche and also have an audience. It is hard for loads of people to distinguish their audience nowadays, being an influencer. So there are loads of people who influence just because they want to have, you know, the monetary benefits of it. So when they get on this thing, they want to influence anything. So any brand can come and then they pick it and influence it. But now when you have carved out a niche, like I said earlier, it is easy for you to influence and have your audience, and it makes the job more easy, you know. But now the problem is, because you cannot per se put a barrier or a boundary on your own platform, everybody comes in and out and goes out, you know, except when it's noticeable and you can block them. It becomes difficult to manage people who don't have the same value system as you, but who have to impose their own ideologies on you, and you have to try to strike a balance and all of that. So it's like I said, a Herculean task at some point. And but what keeps me going is, you know, purpose, knowing that this is all about purpose. And yeah, I can always navigate through one of these circumstances.
Now, you have treated so many subjects. In some you are praised, or in most of them you are praised, as well as heavily bashed by some persons. Can you come back to understanding why you are bashed, even when the intention is for the good of Cameroonians and Africans?
I said earlier, I mentioned something about value systems. You can hardly have a conversation with most people, especially in the media nowadays, when you don't see things alike. You cannot see things alike when your value systems are not the same. So if you and I sit here and I think this dress I'm wearing is black and you think it's white, we can hardly have a conversation revolving colors and every other color that is out there. So regardless of how much communication you put in, it's only going to be seen at the angle of black or white, if you understand what I'm saying. So yes, like I said, these bashing comes most especially from people who do not have the same value systems. And it's not about differences in opinions. It is one thing for us to agree that this is black, and then we can start talking about the different components of black. And a completely different thing from when you think this is white and I think it's black, so we can hardly agree. So I understand that there's this group of people and also those group of people that I have to deal with. So, and you cannot be in such a position and you do not face these backlashes, because at the end of the day, not everybody is coming from the same upbringing, the same background, the same cultural, having the same cultural identity, having the same exposure. So I do understand, and it's always expected. So yeah.
Now, Delhi, you say it has to do with value systems that are different for different persons because of their cultural, religious, educational, amongst other backgrounds. But do you also think that there are some persons who intentionally would want to ridicule what you are doing because of who you are and the successes recorded so far?
Of course. You always have those kind of people. You will be delusional to think everybody likes you, Mr. Kum. You would be delusional to think you're sitting there, you're doing all of these, and everybody is a fan. No. And if everybody, like I always say, if everybody likes you, you are a hypocrite. Okay? Because that would mean that you're a people pleaser. That would mean that you say yes to everybody, and everybody cannot always have the same opinion at the same time. So I factor in people. I rarely use the word haters, but there's no gainsay that they're haters. There's no gainsay that they're enemies. There's no gainsay that they're people who truly want you down for no reason, because like some people would put it, your light is shining into their eyes, and you know they cannot see once you're around. And I see myself as light. I see myself as light in darkness. And so if I shine, darkness will not comprehend. So I understand that people who are intentional about living in darkness will not be happy with me. They will not comprehend. And hence the need for the backlash that I'm having. So it's part of the process. For light to shine, you have the negative and the positive. So I am very, very okay with it. Because at some point, some people obviously come and thinking they're bringing you down or bringing me down, whereas they're actually helping me climb the ladder. So yeah, it's with all pleasure that I take.
Now, we are talking about appreciation and bashing. What is the trend in Cameroon? Do you think Cameroonians are appreciative of those that turn out, hoping that they get better for the good of the nation, or generally would want to play the PhD syndrome amongst those who stand out like yourself?
I think, Mr. Kum, at some point, I think it's a blend of both worlds. At some point, and I noticed, especially during I think just immediately after the start of the Anglophone crisis, I saw this side of Cameroonians that I never used to know. There's this bitterness, there's this mean way of approaching things. There is this, I'm looking for the right word to use, that I've noticed about Cameroonians. We approach things, first of all, from the negative before we get to even understand exactly what is happening. People are just fighting each other. Years back, I would say that Cameroonians are very supportive. Cameroonians are loving people, very accommodating, very understanding. But I've had a different stance as the days go by. And like I said, I began noticing this from the period of the Anglophone crisis. And of course, there's no gainsay that these crises has had a toll on us. We've been battered. We've been fighting for too long. And when you fight for too long, you become the zombie in the human side of you, takes over. And that's exactly what's happened. Then it is further compounded by the media. The media, where anybody can sit at the back of their computers and spew whatever. Everybody has this guts. Everybody has this power that is given to them behind the screen. And they can just say whatever and spew whatever opinion. So yes, there are those who have the PhD syndrome, the people pull him or her down. And there are also those who are very supportive. I must be honest about that. I think having influence for a long time, I've had the opportunity and the blessing of coming across selfless Cameroonians, right-thinking Cameroonians, people who want the best and people who can disagree without being disagreeable. I've had the opportunity of meeting intellectuals. I've had the opportunity of meeting beautiful souls that I want to be thankful for, and I want to focus more on them than even the other side that we call haters. Yeah.
Now, you were recently attacked heavily for talking against the posting of pictures of loved ones, boyfriend, girlfriend. What message were you trying to drive across?
For those who are listening to me for the first time, or if you've come across me on social media, I run a platform which is predominantly relationship, and I've said it countlessly that my platform is run based on biblical principles because I am a Christian, and for the most part, I would talk about things not necessarily quoting the scripture, but just getting biblical principles and with scriptural backing, not all the time. And for the most part, I don't do the scriptural backing because I want to accommodate a lot of people who could benefit from the values of Christianity. So I have made it clear and countlessly that I am not part of those platforms on social media, or my platform is not one of those who accommodates every kind of opinions. I am clear on the path I have chosen in life and what I intend influencing. I am clear on my audience. And so when I put out something on there, I am first of all addressing those who are concerned and those who have agreed. We call ourselves the delicious, those who have agreed to follow the path which I'm leading. So they who are my followers, the delicious, understand whatever topic I put out there. I have to make this clear just so that people understand that it was not just one of those things that you throw out in the media. No, I have a platform. I put it on my platform. And like I said, I've defined my niche more than once, in fact, countlessly. So recently I did talk about, sometimes the Holy Spirit drops these topics in me. I could just be talking. And you see, I always have a pen. You and I are talking, I just write it down. So this came to my spirit, and I've addressed, made it clear countlessly that there's a difference between having a boyfriend and having a husband. Matter of fact, there's a difference between having a boyfriend, having a fiancé, and having a husband. And as a Christian, I will not condone with premarital sex. I will not condone with, all of these things that come in the package of boyfriends, girlfriends. Now, like I said, my values come from the Bible and, of course, the African culture. Now, if we define this niche as Christianity and African culture, then you should begin to understand the kind of narrative that I'm projecting in the media. So somebody understanding just this will not have a problem with the things I put out, based on the fact that this girl is talking from her own background, her value system, and this is the narrative that she has to put. So I talked about boyfriends, and I quote, because I might not get the right words, but I'll use the very necessary words that I put up. So I'm paraphrasing. And I said, there's a particular lady out there, was not addressing anybody anyways. That's how I always teach. You know, I get the bits and bits and bits, and then we can talk about it extensively, and I can go live and explain myself better. So I said, there is a lady out there who is putting pictures on her WhatsApp status, advertising a boyfriend, keyword boyfriend, in the name of Pepper them. Unfortunately, this is going to end in tears. Now, if you have followed me for a while, you would understand that my teachings, for the most part, are garnished with comedy, sometimes with sarcasm. But my followers understand this and they flow with it. So it's always those people who come, you know, they don't want to succumb, they do not want to submit to a leader of the platform, then they bring conflicting ideas that really doesn't concern us. So I talked about this and I was intentional about it, and I'm not taking that back. Yes, because based on biblical principles, there is nowhere in scripture where boyfriends are being brandished. There is no way Christians, because the vast cross-section of my platform is made up of Christians, and I want anybody to challenge me on that. Where is it in scripture that boyfriends are being brandished? Even if you're betrothed, there's still a process for that. And then I talked about pepper them, and we understand what pepper them means. Putting it with the intention of proving a point to people. So when you pick up a post and you cannot select the keywords and you want to bash me based on it, then no, it's a reflection of you and not me. So, and I insist again, if a relationship has not been made legal, whereby, what do I mean by that? Whereby both parents have given their blessings, and if you belong to a church, both pastors have given their blessings, and if you belong to a country, the state has recognized it, you have no business brandishing it out there. First of all, why? As a Christian, and secondly, from our cultural background, there is no such thing as culture, as African culture, in African culture, as boyfriend, girlfriend. These are one of the things that Cameroonians are beginning to forget, or Africans are beginning to forget. That you must have had this guy, and it's to tell us when our parents, we heard from our parents that, oh, boyfriend, girlfriend was a legal thing, or that we could brandish. You grew up with these values where you standing with a boy along the road was enough for your neighbor to discipline you. You see, you stand with a boy and your father or your a big brother or whoever is coming, you are hiding because you know this is not something to be exposed. This is not ours. We have values.
No.
So I'm challenging everyone from that background and that context to tell me where I went wrong before the bashing. So like I said, it was just about people, these particular words I said, ministering to some of the demons that are happening out there, and they could not stand it. So yeah, I was very much aware of that.
Yeah, but this is actually trending where we have young boys and girls exposing their boyfriends and girlfriends on their respective social media handles. What could be pushing them to doing or engaging in such actions? Is it also the influence of or the effects of globalization that is importing cultures that before now were alien to us?
Exactly, you just said that. First of all, we have the exposure of the Western culture. I said something the last time when I came here. Westernization is not modernization. Now, the thing about Africans, and especially African youths, is we have taken the Western culture to be the right way to go. That whites put out boyfriends in the media, that whites brandish boyfriends, that whites go and stay with boyfriends and girlfriends, doesn't in any way mean we should dilute our own rich and values that we have from Africa. Africans are the only ones who want to discard their own things and their values and the moment they are faced with any other culture. So if Africans get to meet with Chinese, they want to talk like Chinese. If Africans get to meet with Americans, they want to dress and sound like Americans. If Africans get to meet with British people, they want to eat British food and discard theirs. Their identity is lost the moment they are faced with another culture. And this is one of the reasons why today we cannot even put our culture, have a conversation with our culture being the common denominator and say, where in our culture is this found? Because somehow we have embraced this globalization, and for the most part, it is only Africans who have embraced it because other cultures don't get to embrace it. We have embraced it to the extent where we have lost our own identity. And that's why you don't have the remorse. Talking about a boyfriend, moving in to live in a boyfriend's house and brandishing boyfriend on social media and be proud and not being remorseful about it. This is the reason why you can fully hold a boyfriend's hand and you're kissing in front of adults and it's okay. So this is one of the things that we've been exposed to in the media, that Africans have picked it, and for long they've done that. And like I said, when it's been done for a long time, it becomes like it's a norm and it's a culture. And then there is the peer pressure from amongst their friends. See your friend has a boyfriend and is doing that, and 10 people are doing it. You're the only one who is not doing it, and you're seen as a weirdo. You're seen as the crazy one. You're seen as, like in the media, when I'm talking about these things, you know, some people look at me like, you're old school, you're old fashioned and all of that. No, I'm just intentional about my cultural identity, about my Christian values. Yeah.
Where is the place of the parents, the responsibility of the parents a year? Can we also conclude that they have failed to do their homework because most of them accommodate and even endorse such actions where you have a girl or a boy who has a boy or girlfriend, they bring them to your home and you entertain them because according to you, this is what others do, especially in the West.
Exactly. The place of the parents. I am always very skeptical about talking about parents because I have mad respect for parents. I understand, I've become a parent, so I understand what that means. But again, it's true, and for the most part, that there's some parents, especially in this dispensation. Growing up, Mr. Kum, it was okay for a neighbor to discipline me, and my own parents will be very okay with it, because if that neighbor doesn't, my parents would rather be disappointed in them, because we grew up as a community, and these values were very much straightforward and obvious like that. And it was a taboo. You know, there are some things that are happening now that we have to call them as it is. It was a taboo, an abomination for a girl to bring a boy into their home and start sleeping in their bed, or the other way, a boy to take a girl. It was a taboo. Even growing up to the level at which, as long as you're still living in your parents' house, you are still a kid. You're still considered a kid, you know. But now in this dispensation, not only the kids are doing it, the parents have come to the point where they're laissez-faire, you know, that has eaten deep in our culture, in our system, that these things are happening. And if you dare want to counsel or caution the younger ones, you are seen as weird, like I said earlier, as crazy. So yes, there's a huge responsibility on the part of the parents. Upbringing has so been diluted, and everybody is just doing one thing or the other. And I said to myself, I choose to stand out. I choose to make a difference. I choose to be the only odd person, regardless. But as long as I know that I'm on the path of truth, I mean, I'm very much okay.
Now, Deli, what is the implication of outrightly portraying a guy or a girl to whom you are not married, and for the future? Because most often, like you said earlier on, they end up in disaster, and we go blaming A and B for not respecting engagements that have been made public.
Okay. The implication of that is you sound desperate, you look desperate, and that's the word I use, and the media could not handle it. Now, I'm not saying that you will not have a boyfriend, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you value yourself as a woman, first of all, as a woman, and our African culture has different ways of treating the masculine, the male gender, and the female gender, and we understand. because it is a given. There's some, because we deal with these different genders based on roles and responsibilities. There are some things that for us Africans, it's normal to see a man do it and not.
Okay, we have some technical issues there with the network. We hope we get connected back to Delhi Singah, who is our guest on Prime this evening, talking about.
Can you hear me, Mr. Kum?
Yes, I can get you. Just go on.
All right, yes, because I had some glitches there. Okay, so I was saying that you as a woman, when you wake up, you brandish a man who is not married to you out there. First of all, what you're telling the whole world is, I have this person in my life. It is a slap in the face of your parents. The friends who have brought you up, struggled, paid your fees and all of that, got you to the level at which you are. We grew up understanding that that in itself brings disrespect to our family name. What you're telling that man is, this is how you treat my family. I have the family name Singah. As I bear the name Singah, I am... What that translates to is, I am an ambassador of the Singah's family. Every one of us who has this name is an ambassador of this family. So whatever you're doing out there is either has a negative or positive impact on our family name. Yes, this is what most young girls don't understand. When we look at you brandish boyfriends all over, what we say is, who is the son or the daughter or the father of, who is the father or the mother of this child? What kind of upbringing you are? You have automatically told us that this is how your father is or this is how your mother is. That's what you're doing. So one of the implications is disrespect to your family name. Secondly, you blur your chances. You mar the chances of getting married. You're looking at a woman that has been brandished on social media by a boyfriend, you know, having very revealing pictures of boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're telling you that they're not just holding hands and having a date, they are also engaged in what married people are doing and confidently putting it out there. Then tomorrow, that relationship breaks. You have lost potential suitors as a woman. That is what you do not know. And most people sitting there would say, okay, I'm making it one-sided. But unfortunately, like I said, we come from Africa, where there are some things that are given to a man, they're not given to a woman. And vice versa, anyways. But in this, and when it comes to relationships in Africa, the men get away with a lot of these things, and there is a reason for that, because there are lots of other things that women also get away with, that men do not get away with. But when it comes to relationship and these image, you know, the woman has more to lose when that is happening. To a man, he is seen as the guy of the block. He is seen as the guy with the guts to have as many women as he wants. But that is not how people look at you. And like I said, these are traditional values that people don't care to listen anymore. And that's why when I'm talking about it, everybody's just like, leave people be free and all of that. And I always say that freedom is not doing what you want when you want it. It is doing what you want within the standards of God's word as a Christian, and doing what you want within the standards of your cultural identity for an African. So you get it. So it is that you're seen as a loose woman, you are seen as desperate for the most part, and you have disrespect for your family name for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah, Delhi, some persons may engage in this as a way of hooking, definitely either the boy or the girl, knowing that if I'm taking a public commitment and that the person may have a rethink if they have to, if something has to come on them for a possible separation because they have been put out there, it's going to be difficult for either of the parties to move on away from the relationship.
And that works most especially, like I said earlier, for the woman's side, okay? Because with the man, polygamy and, like I said, polygyny is a thing for Africa. So if you see an African man today with a woman and see another woman tomorrow, somehow we just understand we just say he's a man, he's polygamous, as an African, is polygamous. He's entitled to more than one woman. That's how we cover it up, and it ends there. So like I said, the bulk of this is on the woman. Now, when you start putting this man out there, people sit and analyze it. Even the men who have a crush on you or who would like to make you wife, they're considering. Or the internet never forget. They see these pictures that are there for eternity. They see these pictures that will stay, the stories that bloggers will carry. It's there. And people write mean things and all of that. Nobody wants to have their wife brandished by another man in the media and, and feel like it's okay. Now, let me say something. When you start having boyfriends, girlfriends, you are doing husband duties at boyfriend prices. So what do I mean? You are giving that which pertains to a husband, because it is okay for married people to brandish, because our culture accommodates that. The Bible accommodates that. So when you start doing that, you are in essence saying that I am giving husband duties at boyfriend prices, and unknown to you, you rather mar your chances of that relationship becoming fruitful. You're cooking for the man, you're sleeping with the man, you've shown the man that the whole world that this is the man who has your heart. You're doing all of these things, and there is no quote unquote pressure on the man's side to do the needful. And he looks at himself like, okay, she's already doing all of these things. Why is it a problem? Because before all of that has to be done, there's such a thing as bride price that your parents have to receive, so that it is official, traditionally and legally, that this is what has happened, and okay, we can see our daughter. So it plays more on the young women, and that's why my platform predominantly is young women, young men, and I'm telling them that these are values that you still have to, I'm trying to inculcate these values in them, and these are values that are still beautiful, and you can still preserve them, and that the media is showing you, is destroying you for the most part. So be careful what you see in the media, be careful the kind of platforms you follow in the media, be careful the people you listen to, because at the end of the day, we are still Africans, and hey, for some, they're still Christians.
Okay. Good evening, Auntie Deli. We are so glad with the information and education you're giving us. We hope you continue. Agnes is writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Agnes. Good evening, Mommy Deli. We are so blessed to have had you in our lives as Cameroonians. Keep up the good work. Blessing is writing from Yaoundé. Mommy... This one says, Mommy Deli, please, you are standing out amongst the women. We want you to come to Cameroon and do politics. We will vote for you. This is Rita writing from Santa. Good evening to you, Rita. Deli, I want to ask you this question. Some persons, or especially ladies, feel that putting out a guy's picture actually scares other ladies from coming near, securing the relationship for themselves.
I actually say my big laugh when it comes to that.
Okay.
You see, Mr. Kum and every other man listening to me, is one of these things that sometimes I look at women, the gullibility and the naivety that some women express, and especially when it comes to understanding how the men think. It's laughable to think that way. There's a married man out there brandishing her kids, wife, and everything, and there's a side chick who is very much okay with it and understanding her place. There is a guy out there putting a girl as calling this is my last bus stop and everything and brandishing, whereas he has 10 other women at the background who are very okay with you being the one that is put in the media. It doesn't in any way send away women. Matter of fact, this dispensation is made up of women who are very daring, women who are very bold, women who can actually walk up to a man and tell the man, you know what, I love you and I want to be with you, and it's okay to them, who are not embarrassed. So for you to think in that myopic manner that when I see your wife or you putting a wife out there and it's going to scare women, you're rather making the other women thirsty to want to have a bit of this man you're putting out there. When you put out a man, he's all looking all good, and you're too petite to scare these women. Matter of fact, you're showing more like you're exposing banana to monkeys. That's what you're saying. Oh, it's yellow, it's ripe, it's fresh, and it's sweet. Who doesn't want to taste it? Who doesn't? So no, that's an error on the part. Rather, I said, build your relationship at the background. You don't have any business, anything whatsoever to prove to the world. You don't owe the world an amazing relationship. You don't owe the world a couple goals. You don't. What you do, you owe yourself sanity. You owe yourself a decent relationship and respect. And you can as well build that at the background. And when it's tangible enough, then you can show the world that I am not presenting just anything that could be taken from me at any time. I'm presenting something that is authentic, you know. So for you to say you're putting out there, then, I mean, married men would not be cheating if that's the case, because their wives are always, in fact, they always put their cover pictures on social media, carries their wives, but girls are still in their boxes. Matter of fact, you're rather showing them what they are missing. And of course, they want to try at least just a bit of it.
Eno Ako says, my sister, life is too short. Let's enjoy it. You are in an ideal world which doesn't exist. This concept of life is too short, so let's make maximum use of it. How do we enjoy life by doing what people think is enjoyment, and not necessarily from your view?
For somebody, when you say, like I said, you see, the way you see life actually works for you. They say, as the Bible says, that as a man thinketh, so is he. The way you think, that's how life works for you. So see how I'm thinking? It is beautiful. And I see life that way, and it's beautiful. So it is not bad. No, who told you that life is too short? First of all, who told you life is too short? You have decided it is too short. And now, if this is the ideology that you would see that will be coming from a grandson that you expect to teach the younger ones to understand life is not about whether it's short or long. It is about principles. And when you violate principles, you will get the consequences of either violating them or keeping them. So if you approach life by life is too short, then don't go to school, sweetheart. Don't eat. Life is even too short. Don't clean yourself. Life is too short. Don't do this. I always say this kind of statement comes from people who truly want to live anyhow and don't be questioned or do not accept the consequences that will come. Unfortunately, we make choices, but then we do not have the luxury of choosing the consequences that come with it. When you say life is too short and these ladies go out there, project themselves, at the end of the day, some of them, keywords, some of them end up not having husbands, some of them end up being baby mamas, some of them end up being castigated. You who project this side of life is too short, you're not there to face the consequences with them. When you tell people life is too short, live your life, these young ones go out there and they carry all manner of diseases and all of that. You are not there to take these retroviral drugs with them. No, you're not there. You are busy propagating life is too short, but you do not see the consequences that come along with it. And I said, this is a lie from the pit of hell that has so been sold, and it's people have bought it and they're trying to pass this down onto these people. I live a good life. I'm not saying that I'm living the perfect life. So I don't buy this ideology, but it doesn't mean life is bitter on my part. Just understand why I say live a good life. I say in terms of, it doesn't mean that because I try to promote these values out there, it makes life bitter. It doesn't make life bitter. So what are your value systems? And again, I'm not talking to everybody. Understand, if you do not fall within my value systems, you're not at gunpoint to take the things I'm telling you. But I'm talking to these younger ones who, for the most part, are ignorant about a lot of what is happening. I'm talking to the Christian sisters and brothers who are being pressured on a daily to discard their biblical principles and follow the path of the world. I'm talking to adults who have forgotten where they're coming from and are beginning to pick anything in the name of life is too short in the media and out there. That no, if life is too short, then make the most out of it. While you're still on earth, fulfill your purpose. Be intentional about keeping principles. And then that way, you will not feel the need of life is too short. It will be life is quite beautiful and fulfilling. Yeah.
from Bafusam. This one says, you are a Christian, Mommy Deli, but some of us are not. Why not consider us? Peace is writing from Loom. This one says, good evening, Agnes from Bonaberi Douala. Mommy Deli, thank you for being a wonderful mentor to our society. I especially love you so much for mentorship. More strength to you, Mommy. Okay, good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Kum, Auntie Deli, ahead. Just saying, talk, you are a woman with self-esteem. Dr. Esther Bisson is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you. This one says, wow, right on, Deli, you are a true daughter of Africa. You stand tall as an ambassador of African cultural values. It's unfortunate when I read comments below. I see people talking about embracing change. I wonder if the West particularly, or even the Chinese, can embrace African cultural values for change. I have friends who at times claim to talk like Americans after traveling out there for just a moment. Keep the fire burning. A few of us are with you. I would like to get your number. Shea GP is writing from Japan. Should I share a number with Shea, who is writing from Japan?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so I should send your number to Shea, writing from Japan.
Yes.
Yes, Shea lives in Japan, and almost everybody, because there are some messages that are talking about embracing evolution. Why is it that Africans are so much in a hurry to embrace evolution of other cultures when we know how attached to their cultures Indians, Chinese, and others are?
One word: inferiority. Neocolonization, neocolonialism, inferiority, neocolonialism. So why is the neocolonialism coming in place? Because we are inferior. Let's take the first question. Somebody talked about where some of us are not Christians. Again, this is, like I said, most people really don't get it. And even when you are not a Christian, I always say that we have common denominators that we can all function by. So in Cameroon, we have different religious background. Even as a Muslim, there are still some things you cannot do, even when we can understand. Morality. We have a foundation of morality that Africans have, that you cannot take it from their culture. So when you try to seclude yourself from being a Christian, you would still be faced with the African culture and the side of morality that we all attest to. So how about that? Value systems. Even if you are a Christian or not, when we were growing up, we did not check whether our neighbor was Christian or Muslim or Buddhist. We did not think about that. There were values in our culture that we could just see. So we didn't have those distinctions. Now, let's just even say that, okay, you are not so particular, you're not even a religious person and all of that. I'm talking and addressing my fellow Christian folks. So jump and pass over the message. It's not at gunpoint, sweetheart. This message is for, I've defined a niche, carved an audience, carved a niche and defined an audience that people understand when I speak. So it's not for you. You're not even supposed to watch me on TV. You're not even supposed to listen to me for past 2 minutes. Why? Because we don't have the same value systems. But if we do, then we can as well look into the things we're talking about. Embracing change. What do people mean by embracing change? The change that only comes when you have to become like a white woman or a white man, that you have to sound like them before you feel that that's change. How many of them have embraced you? I talked the other time about sensitizing about our hair. How many white women get kinky hair just to want to look like Africans? How many white women go about wearing our African regalia just to look like Africans? They want to. Chinese, every other race. Why is this change always about Africans? Something is wrong. It is inferiority that is speaking for the most part. And most of you do not want to agree to it. How? Why? Have you ever heard any other person, any other race want to speak our vernacular? Have you ever heard the struggle to, even when they do it for fun? Have you ever seen any of their kids struggling to be like Africans? Why is this change one-sided? You should begin to think about it. Something is wrong. low self-esteem, and that Africans have about their own culture. So this is not about change. Like I said at the beginning, Westernization is not globalization. Globalization is all of these different backgrounds, race, coming together, respecting the boundaries of our unique values and cultures, and then working with each other. And this is the best way I can break it down so that even a layman could understand. So when we come together, I want to see an American have our Togo as well, and also brandish it out there. I want to see them eat our ero and our achu and be okay, and even take some of it to their own side and try to cook it and feel like, oh, I'm just coming from Africa. I want to see that. That doesn't mean they will stop all of their burger and all of that. It just means that this is globalization, and I have a taste of these other people or other cultures that I'm coming around. But what we Africans do, we go there, we discard. So if you tell somebody, oh, let's go and eat achu or something, oh no, they want to sound quote unquote modern by eating burger or salad and feel like, okay, they're now the latest modern person. We're unknown to us. We look stupid in the eyes of these other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Delhi, good evening, Mr. Liu and Delhi. This is Rema Emil writing from Boya. I may not agree totally with Delhi on this. She fails to understand that the world has changed. So many things have evolved. Life itself is not fair. She just answered to that. Good evening, Mommy Delhi. I'm Sandra from Bomenda. I'm so happy for the positive impact you are giving us, the women. Thank you, Sandra from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Mr. Kum and Ma Delhi. Thank you for the insight, Ma. I'm enjoying the program. Young ladies especially need and have to listen to these teachings. Modernization has damaged our cultures greatly. Elian is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Elian. This one says, good evening, Mr. Kum Leonard, Mommy Delhi. Glad hearing from you. I'm really enjoying the program. More grace to you for the wonderful job, even on social media. Stay blessed. This is Kembu Helen, writing from Boya. Good evening to you, Helen. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Please tell her to come back home. Her message will be better understood with her presence on site. Sultan is writing from Douala. Doctor is asking for your number. Doctor is Dr. Bisong, writing from Kumba, says that she needs your number. With your permission, I'm going to send it to her. Delhi, so many questions. Some persons think that you need to come back home. Remember, somebody earlier said you should come and create a political party here in Cameroon, and that they were going to vote for you. Do you understand this need for your presence in Cameroon?
I think it's about time I came to Cameroon. Yes, I understand. I have intentions of coming back, and I'm still working on that. I'm working on a project where it's going to be a national tour, and I'm trusting God that He gives us He reveals to us exactly how He wants us to go about it. I want to go to different schools, and especially my target is the secondary schools, because I think these young girls and boys are the target. These are the very vulnerable ones, okay? And I want to go to even the primary schools and talk to them. As a train a child, Bible says that you train a child the way they should grow, and when they have come of age, they will not depart from it. You will train a child, okay? A child, you will not train an adult. So I have intentions of coming to Cameroon and go from, really, let me use the word handpick some of these schools out there and sensitize them. So yes, it's hard to pass on this message because it's in the media and anybody can reject it from behind their computers. But then when you stand with these persons, when you stand with these persons, when you stand with these persons, I'm sorry about that. When you stand in front of these persons, the impact is far-reaching. Yeah.
Okay. the impact is far-reaching. We have some issues with Delhi. Delhi, once you are ready, just come back so that we can continue our conversation that is described by many as very impactful. Is Delhi back? Delhi is not there. I'll take some message. This one says maybe we should tell Delhi to know that she does not own manners and intelligence. I watched your program, and here she rebuked makeup, and she's gone back to it without any authorization. Delhi needs to be logical, and yes. If she is so African inclined, she will know that her family name, Singah, is only carried by the male siblings, as she loses that name once she gets married. Talking about culture, this argument is weak. We keep looking for visas to travel to the West and want to West to copy from us. He who visits must adapt, as the adage says. When in time, do what Romans do, Africans should stop feeling too important. Delhi, are you there?
Hear me?
Yes, Delhi, we are talking about getting to Rome and doing what the Romans are doing. Do we have Indians in Africa do exactly what Africans are doing? Do we have Chinese do what?
I think that question that answers the question. Mm-hmm. The Chinese here. How many times have you seen them discard their culture and they're running after African cultures? They come here, they make the money, they go back. You still go to their shops, you still hear them swing, all over the place. There's no such thing as they have become Bafut Mangpongi. No, they are still Chinese people, and you can clearly distinguish them. You can see how they still dress, you can see how they talk, you can still see how modest they always are. You can still see it. So I think that sometimes we reject change, or we reject truth, not because we don't identify with it, but because it is easier to stay in a lie, and because it authenticates the things that we're doing. So I think the people who ask this, really, the answer is right in front of them. Yeah.
The answer is right in front of them. Good evening, Mr. Kum and your guest. Thanks for educating our young girls of today. This issue of boyfriend and girlfriend is turning our society to something else. Imagine that some of these boys even get these girls well beaten and the girls are still there. What a disgrace to the family name. Thank you. You're writing there from Nigeria. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu, and to Madam Delhi. I admit her advice are relevant. Youth need them. Pangnule is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Pangnule. Delhi, how much are you celebrated and appreciated by Cameroonians back here and those who are out of Cameroon? I'm talking about the diaspora. Are you satisfied with your work as an influencer today?
I would say that I have, like I said at the beginning, I have enormous support from some Cameroonians, and I cannot put a blind eye to it. You know, it's one thing for people not to agree with some of the things you say, and yet another thing for them to be completely haters. So I try to distinguish between those who just don't buy an opinion and those who are out to bring me down. It's completely different, just so we do not mistake that. And again, the values I'm teaching, I am very much aware that it is not a walk to the park. It is not. I understand that it is not very popular and the most interesting, and and especially in a time when you can do anything you want to do. Like some people are saying life is free, you're free to do, or life is short, and all of that. It's the easier route to take, that life is short route, but this one is the more challenging route to take. But I always tell people that it is about the principles. Again, like, you do not know what tomorrow holds for you. God has just given this air that comes in and out. And as much as it is up to you, live according to purpose, live a purposeful life. I'm passionate about redefining authentic relationship, what authentic relationships mean, because it's a lot of junk that is being sold nowadays in the name of relationship. I'm passionate about purpose discovery, you know. I'm passionate about capacity building and a lot more. So these are the things that I intend as and of course, African values and culture and values in amongst the youngsters that is almost extinct, you know. So these people, it's hard. So when I see the backlash, I see the resistance, I understand that for the most part, my message is first of all hard, you know, but I let it be hard. Try and then fail. The Englishman says something that if you have to fail or fall, rather, if you have to fall on the side of caution. What does that mean? It means that be doing the right things, try to do the right things, try to live by principles, and then you fall. And then you can clearly see where all of that is coming from, and then you keep on moving, rather than take the highway, which of course, you know, usually and for the most part ends in tears. So yes, I have a lot of people who, they don't like Delhi, they don't like the sight of Delhi, but hey, Mr. Kum, I have a huge fan base out there. Cameroonians support me because, like I said, we are human beings. At the end of the day, we are spirit beings. The Spirit of God is in us. Sometimes we just don't understand to what extent your spirit communicates with mine. Some people know the truth. They understand the truth. It is just maybe too difficult for them and they cannot agree to it. But deep within them, they know that for a fact, this is the right way to follow.
Okay. Good evening to you in the studio. Life is a mystery. No matter what you do in the life, people must take right from, okay, take it right. I don't know. Your message is not too clear. You are writing from Mutengene. I love the topic of today, okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu. Is Ndeke Axel writing from Yaoundé. That lady is highly needed in our country. Extend my greetings to her. Thanks. Okay, Delhi, you are needed in Cameroon. Mr. Liu, good evening. Greet my young daughter for me. She is the lighted candle that cannot be put under the table. I'm Mr. Peter, writing from Limbe. Good evening to you in the studio, Mr. Kum, and my very own sweet auntie, Delhi. May our good Lord continue to see you through. It's Yvette writing from Kumbu. Good evening. My name is Pastor Ivo. I love your program. Many are called, but few are chosen. Those who have ears will hear. God bless you. For me, Delhi, can you share with us the most difficult thing you have had to endure with trolleys and bullies?
First of all, we have these bullies and trolls on social media. You know, most of them use fake profiles and pass on messages that on a normal day they would not pass on, you know, looking at you. We have all of these trolls out there, and I've had my own fair share of it. The most difficult thing having to deal with is I run a platform where I have a lot of confidential information. Cameroonian youths, especially the English-speaking youths, run to me on a daily basis and confide in me. So I have a platform where we hide IDs, and then you express yourself and talk. So you have social counseling. So you express yourself, and we keep it anonymous, and then, you know, people counsel you in the comments, and then we could do private counseling and all of that. So, Mr. Kum, you can only begin to imagine the number of secrets I've got to keep, the number of confidential information that people confide in me. And then turning around and seeing these same people who come to me on a daily basis, where I have information that in the snip of a finger can potentially destroy you and your future. I still have to be mature enough to keep it with tears in my eyes and with a heavy heart. Having seen the same people who have run to me and I'm a shoulder for them to lean on, the same people who have come to me for counseling and I did it for free, the same people who have run to me, you know, for me to match them up, and the next minute, they are the same people who are fueling the same hate, the same, the bullying, the trolling. To be able to hold myself and not go down that route to unleash this information about them, to have a field time. I think that's one of the highest things that I have to deal with Cameroonian youths. Looking at them run from one platform to the other, some of them even having the audacity to tag me on things that should break me, and it's okay, and they laugh because we have differences in ideologies and ideas, or we've differed on a particular topic. These same people, Mr. Kum, you have no idea what that means. The ideal thing or the easy way out is for me to just release your information. As I don't know if it's right to even say this on national TV. Some of them even come. I mean, I have as little or as their nudes, as bad as this sounds. Now I could just use a fake profile as well and send it out there in the media, and then one or two people would distribute it. But no. That's what I tell people, when you say life is too short and you want to do anything, it is you being dishonest with yourself. Because I could go through that route and say life is too short, they're bashing me and all of these same people, I have your information. And I still say, you know what? If life is too short, then rather use it to do the right thing. And this, having to keep, I think this is one of the things that I took my horn in the media. I've hidden IDs for as long as I've hidden IDs. And there's never been a time where I've decided, you know what, I am going to release these IDs to get back at those people. So yes, I took my horn on that. And trust me, it's been the grace of God that has kept me from doing that, because they've pushed me long enough to do. And
Deli, we have so many life coaches, we have so many inspirational speakers, we have so many pastors today who are talking to our young people, so much coaching. Why are things not working for our young people who are rather adopting attitudes that are not very consonant with who we are as Africans?
Yes, I think, first of all, there are loads of pastors out there who are preaching these things. One of the things I've noticed about preaching in this dispensation is you have to be firm. People will come and say, oh, you are not supposed to. When I talk, I don't second guess myself. I come with audacity, and I come with this because I know who is backing me. I'm not timid to face it squarely and call fornication for the name that it's due. It's rightly deserved. I call adultery for that name. Now the thing is, I think there's this side of Christianity that has so been watered or diluted, where you cannot preach the gospel nowadays without feeling that you're offending people, without feeling like you're sorry, I'm getting some messages. So I think some of these pastors have been bullied, especially in the media. Pastors will come out to preach, and you would go under this comment section and you will see all manner of comments. And I always say that I'm that Christian who still has this rugged side of her. We get into. There's a level, of course, that mud that I will not get into. But there's a level which we would face it squarely in the media. So you see, some pastors have been blackmailed to stay at the background, not talk. Oh, you talk, we release this about you. Some pastors are scared, literally, to preach. So when you cannot preach the undiluted word of God, there's no impact in the youths. There's no impact out there. So everybody can now do anything and say, oh, after all, the pastor. And then there's this false interpretation, I call it heresy, about the grace of God, that, oh, it's the grace that covers us all. And now people are not intentional about being Christians. So now it is under the guise of, we do anything under the guise of, it is grace that covers us. Yes, there's the grace, and there's the work inside as well. So if you would sit there and you deceive yourself that, oh, grace, and grace, Bible still asks us, do we continue to sin because grace would abound? And the answer is no. So I am that preacher who comes, I say my own pulpit is in the media. I'm that preacher who comes boldly and say, you know what? This is wrong. I'm not asking you if it is wrong. I'm telling you it is wrong, and I give you the way out of this. I even get sometimes to even teach the lesser evil. If you follow the platform, you would understand, and I tell you, these are the consequences that you're facing, you are going to face. And if people are honest with themselves to say, yes, I did this thing and these are the consequences I'm facing, and then, okay, I have to face my shit by myself. And not having to run back to Mommy Deli, because you see, sometimes we speak because at the end of the day, they go do these vices. After they've been advised life is free and all of that, I am still the ones to hide these IDs and counsel them and take them out of the mess that they're facing. So the media is such a dangerous ground. I say it is a good servant but a bad master. And if the media is a master over you, you would pick the wrong things in the media. If it is a good servant, you would pick the right things in the media. So it is the media and these youths not even knowing where to go, and a lot of diluted messages for the most part that the youths are being faced with.
Yes. You are talking from the perspective of pastors, I presume men of God, but we have so many, they call them life coaches. They also call them inspirational or motivational speakers who talk to our youth, who tell them this and that. Why is there not a corresponding change in the attitudes that we see our young people live? Why is there a disconnect between what is being preached from these motivational and life coaches and what obtains on the ground? Do you think most of them are qualified to do what they are doing? Is this the new trend that we are observing in our society today?
Well, some are qualified, others are not qualified. But the most part, and I've said it with the pastoral side as well, is a lot of diluted messages that are being passed on in the media. Secondly, when you who qualifies people to be life coaches? Life coaches, that's huge. To be a life coach is something that doesn't just come with or experiences. It comes with enormous revelation, from God. So for you to be a life coach, it entails a lot. I think there's no there's no coherence with the outcome of the youth and the messages that are being preached, because some of these people want to also conform. There's conformity. Some of them are scared to preach the right messages, like I said earlier. Some of them are not qualified to preach it. So you see somebody who has called themselves a life coach, tagged themselves a life coach, is telling youths life is too short. What is the message at the end of the day that these youths will get? Somebody who is a life coach and is meant to be an example, is meant to lead these people, even though you have maybe lived a life that is not as such. And because normally you're meant to teach from even the experiences you've had. And you go out there and tell youth, you know what, live your life anyhow you want. How do you expect these children to change? Secondly, our own lifestyles are the biggest Bible some people would ever read. So when they see you say one thing and tomorrow you're doing another, they go about like, okay, just imagine, there's a plethora of Cameroonian youth.
Okay. Connection issue. Is Deli back? If she's there, let's hear from her. Hi, sir. Good evening. Your program is really great, and I'm really picking up valuable ideas. Thank you, and more grace to this teaching. Albertine is writing from Kumba. Is Deli there?
I'm here. Sorry, I think this is a network.
Okay.
So I don't know where it stopped, but let me take it from where I was talking about preaching virtue and practicing vice. That particular one is one of the ways that one of the main reasons why there's the messages and the lifestyle of the youth is not in sync. So there are loads of people listening to me, youths, the some who are even convicted to live the right way, just listening to me. And then the next minute, they see me doing this direct opposite of the things I'm saying. It has a toll on them. It has a way of discouraging them and say, you know what, if Mommy Deli can be doing that, I might as well do it too. So what's the point? I'm keeping myself, and then people are living their lives. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's all of these things, reasons that is making the youths, go wayward. Hey, I'm not saying that you should be a perfect human being. Nobody is perfect. I'm just saying, follow the path of truth. Live by principles. And if you have to fall on the side of caution. And if you fall, still recognize the side of truth and take that part, because therein lies the solution.
Okay, good evening to you, Mr. Liu and Mommy Mentor, Mommy Deli. Mommy Deli, I love how you speak English so fluently. Your language game is top notch. I admire you a lot. I am your sister from Ngi. Beg salute with small for country talk. I'm sure Mommy Deli is going to do that. Good evening, Mr. Liu. When I hear people responding so negatively to Deli's idea, I understand because anyone can afford a phone. If they check educational backgrounds before selling phones, a lot will improve. There is a clear difference between good and bad, and some people ignorantly or intentionally choose the path. Africans really need help and education, especially on African customs and tradition. Do is writing from Bali, Nyunga. Good evening to you, Do. This one reads, greetings to you in the studio. Let's not even go as far as comparing us to Americans, Chinese, etc. Very close to us is India, Nigeria, and Ghana. These people still maintain their most part of their cultures, identity, and lifestyle abroad. Please, Delhi, keep your voice loud. Good principles are hard to absorb. Miss Kate is writing from the USA. Hi, sir. Good evening. Your program is really great, and I'm really picking up valuable ideas. Thank you, and more grace to this teaching. Okay, she's writing from Kumba. Delhi, so many appreciations, but some persons think that not too real. Please tell this lady to convey her message with respect. Okay. Bruno is writing from Yaoundé. Delhi, there are also times where some persons see some of your responses as arrogant. I myself am faced with that. Is that just your nature or a way when people don't understand your tone and manner of delivery?
Sometimes you ask questions and then you give the answers to the questions as well. Okay. And it's true that I come across as very bold and confident and in what I'm saying. And this is how you, well, I cannot be apologetic about being me. I can't be apologetic about that. But hey, I understand if I, and I don't want to say that there are no times when I'm rude or being sarcastic or being mean. No, I want to say when it is that time, and I would apologize for that, because sometimes it's the heat of the moment, and then you say things that you're not meant to say them. And if you sit over them and sleep over them, the Frenchman says, la nuit porte conseil. If you sit and then you say, this is wrong, okay, I'll face them and say, okay, this is wrong. However, sometimes it is you being audacious and daring and bold and confident about the message you're passing, and some people cannot stand it. So if you ask somebody like, why were you, what have I said that is rude? The person might just say, well, and I would need that kind of person to give an example, and then we can look at it. But to say that I come out wanting to be rude, it is not intentional. But I understand that intentions don't always do the magic, because you could have good intentions, and then you pass it the wrong way. But again, like I said, we should be keen on not missing out on people who are confident and bold and audacious, and trying to, miss the message and rather seeing arrogance and disrespect on there. So if in the course of talking I've disrespected you, maybe your culture, maybe your system, I apologize for that. I don't remember what I said that is disrespectful. However, if you felt that way, then I apologize for it.
Delhi, let's go back to the trolling and the bullying. What could be the intention behind such moves by so many persons who would want to bully you, and also doing all manner of attacks? These intentions aimed at, or are these guys aimed at silencing you or covering up for what they are doing wrongly?
Again, you've answered the question. Some of them are truly ignorant about something. Some people argue based from a place of ignorance, and we have to admit that it's not that like they don't like you that they are arguing. Some argue because your light is shining in their eyes and it's exposing a lot of demons out there. And then others argue because they truly want to bring you down. So there's different reasons. But hey, like I said, I'm not bothered about most of these people. I am focused on the ones who are listening to my message and doing their best, striving their best to do the right things on a daily. So I cannot possibly leave one or two people who have gone behind fake profiles, because the people who don't agree with me are not too many. Make no mistakes. They're not too many, because if we are not clear on these things, you would start feeling intimidated by fake profiles of one person who has created fake profile, and you're thinking you have 10 enemies. No, it's just one who is trying to make themselves known like that, which is, for the most part, cannot be compared to the number of, like they said, there are 3,000 other prophets who have not bowed to Baal, and you stand here and you do not know. So sometimes begin to appreciate more of, that's what I tend to do, appreciate the people who hold my hand, support the work, learn from me, make errors, come back and agree to these things, go out there, reject the message and still come back to say, yes, Auntie Deli, Mommy Deli, you were right at the end of the day. These are the people I'm focused on. I can't be bothered about people who are inconsequential to me.
Okay.
And when I speak like this, people say, but I can't be bothered about, they're inconsequential to me.
Okay. Deli, my sister, not all decent women will still get married. On the contrary, some women still get married after failed relationships. I'm not sure that is what we're talking about. Eno Ako says, Deli, I like your boldness and confidence. Good night. Good night to you too. Eno Ako watching the program. Good evening to you in the studio. Thank you, Mommy Deli. I love the way you spell out the truth in plain words. More strength and grace. Goodness. Writing from Douala. Can you stop calling? We can't take a call. Just write a message to Deli. I'll read it out to her. Hello, Mr. Liu. I'm thanking my able woman of God. The truth is that not all will agree with you. This is because they did it to your master. I'm talking about, I'm sure, you're talking about Jesus Christ, who was also preferred. No, Barabbas was preferred even to him. Mr. Liu, please, is it possible to make a weekly program with Mommy Deli? Like you both look into different aspects weekly. It's really going to be cool, okay? We'll discuss that with Deli and see if it's possible. But Deli, someone requested that you greet them in the language. I hope you're going to do that. Greetings, big bro, Mr. Liu. I'm Bruce Sama Nestor, a gospel musician. I really love the spirit of Auntie Deli. Have been facing a lot of problems whenever I go out for evangelism. People keep telling me that we have leave our own culture and fall on white man's culture, which is the church. When can you say, oh, you mean, what can you say about that? Please, I also need her contacts. Yes, Deli, do you understand? When Africans consider Christianity as the white man's culture, making it also difficult for some of those who go out for evangelism, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yes, I understand that. You remember last time we were talking about African values and everything, and then I think, this actually came out there, the religious part of it. When I talk about African values, and I talk about globalization, I'm not in any way saying that everything that we have embraced from the white man is wrong. That's not what I'm saying. And this is the issue we have in the media. When you say one thing, people either amplify it, exaggerate it, or blow it out of proportion. I did not say so. I did not say everything that the white man brought was wrong. I'm of the school of thought that says we should have the majority, the bulk of our culture in place, and then we can have bits of these. Now, the problem is not the Christianity. It is more of religion. And that's where we cannot draw the line. So you don't have a problem. If I ask you what is wrong with Christianity or with religion, you would tell me more of the religious aspect, not the gospel in itself, because the gospel is light. If I ask you what is in this Christianity or this religion that the whites brought to us, it's just like technology. So it has its pros and its cons. So if I come and say, okay, because the whites now brought technology, and we are not supposed to embrace their own culture. So everybody, in fact, all this TV and internet connection and everything, we should just discard them. But no, that's not what I'm saying. We look at the good side of it. And
we look at the good and bad side of technology. Is Delhi back? Hello? Is Delhi back? We've been having issues with connection. At times, technology decides to play fast on us. We hope she gets here.
I'm back. I'm okay. Not sure if you can hear me.
Go on, Delhi.
Yes, so we're talking about that, and I'm saying every one of these people who are bothered about Christianity or religion, it is not a problem in itself if you look at it. It is the gospel is not the problem. The problem is the religious aspects of it. So these issues that, if you notice on my platform, we're always talking about, that somebody will not read for an exam and take a sticker and put on their forehead and take anointing oil and say they are going to pass. These are the religious side of this Christianity or the religion that was brought to us. So, for instance, let's keep that aside and take, for instance, technology. The different things that the negative sides of even the phone, how people into relationships have been messed up. Gone are these days when you sit and have proper relationship with people, talk with people, look at them eyeball to eyeball. Nowadays, it's only through the phone, and it's a lot of scam behind the phones. So am I going to sit here and say, okay, because it's all of these negative things that come along with the phone that we have to discard them? No. I think this is where most people don't get it when it comes to this religious thing. So, because if you ask them, why don't you want this particular, they will just start listing religious aspects about Christians and even Muslims and all of that. That is obviously an issue, not the Christianity in itself. But I would love for us to have this particular topic on a different day, and maybe have pastors as well who would come and maybe shed more light on it. Yeah.
Now, Delhi, we're talking about what you have faced so far, and you say there are persons who have been working to either silence you or cover up for their mess, and you are standing tall to them. When are you also working with other persons who are doing the job you do to see into it that there is greater impacts on the Cameroonian youth? Remember, persons are watching you across Cameroon, especially those who live in the rural setting. How do you get to them to also ensure that they benefit from this wisdom that you carry?
Yes, I have an independent platform, okay, that I teach on there on a daily basis and on a regular. And media houses like My Media Prime, I really want to salute you and the entire team for getting me on board to say, oh, Delhi, come and use this avenue to educate the people. But like I said, I understand that it's only how far these messages will go if I don't come to Cameroon. And like I said, we're working to, I'm putting some things, working and trying to reach out to these institutions, secondary and primary and secondary schools, to get to educate. I'm not just talking to girls, I'm talking to the boys as well, to educate them, so that they can be well equipped before they get into the university. Because for the most part, you always hear it is when children have gone to the university and then they become another version of themselves that we did not know about. Some of us went to the university and then we started doing things that we could not, it's so irreconcilable with who we used to be. And yeah, there's that world. But unfortunately, you can hardly teach children when they've gotten out there. They call university into the world. So when you send them into the world, if you have not properly equipped them for the battle, because it's a battle, this world is a battle. If they don't have the right weapons, unfortunately, they would be consumed by the world itself. So yes, that's my target, to get to these institutions and carry out these seminars and talks and more talks to the younger folks. Yeah. So yeah. And in the media, we have other motivational speakers, of course, that are there, that are doing awesome and talking to the youths. The only thing is, I differ with, I think most of them, or they differ with me for the most part. So it is easy for you to see 3, 4 motivational speakers talking.
Okay, we still have issues with connections. We also make technology, or we make machines. Sometimes they decide to fail us daily. We pray against any spirit that is trying to stop this conversation between yourself and myself with intention or objective.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, go on, Delhi.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was saying that in the media, like I said, it's hard to see 1, 2, 3, 4 motivational speakers having the same ideologies on a particular topic as me. For the most part, I'm always maybe standing on my own, and then with a considerable amount of my followers, you know. However, keeping our differences as influencers and motivational speakers, inspirational speakers aside, we also have a lot of other people out there. I have Roy Mama, she's in the US. You know, she's doing awesome. I have Mama Talaku. You know, I have Mercy Kema. I have, my God, I'm going to miss out on a lot now. I'm not good at name calling like that. I will miss out on the people. There's B. Emanuela, my friend. She's doing awesome as well. You know, it's a lot of these people that sometimes, and for the most part, we don't always have the same ideologies. However, there are times when we merge and we truly speak alike. And yeah, and those times I leverage on those times, and you know, echo our voices out there even more. So yeah, they're these people.
Okay, there is this. Delhi, now young girls actually follow trends. They follow fashion. They follow all of this. How do we get them live the lives, or not exactly the lives of their mothers, but bringing them back to reflecting our culture as Africans? Like you have hailed the Indians, the Chinese, the Japanese. How do we get our young girls see the value in staying truly African?
Education is a very powerful tool. Mm-hmm. It starts from the parents, the parenting that we're having, because I think one of the major plagues that we have in the society right now is parenting. Parenting has developed like it starts from the parents, and then it goes to the teachers. So with the teachers, the curriculum that is given out for the children, I think that we should be intentional. Maybe the government or we be intentional about revisiting civic education. You see, all these royal science that we used to do in school, domestic science, civics, there was home, there was values, there was a particular subject we used to do that had these little values, you know. And as the days go by, we've changed everything and discarded most of this. I don't know if they're still doing it, but lay emphasis on these particular subjects, on these particular things. Again, having seminars that, and on a regular basis, that people get to talk to these children, you know, as much as not all of them would agree to it, but some of them would, okay? There are loads of them out there that would listen, you know. And like I always say, even if it means just one person that listens to me and gets the message and runs with it, I can go to sleep. So yes, the education, be intentional about it. Yeah, draft a plan of action and get the right people to follow suit. Yeah, I think it's going to make a lot of change, enormous change.
I wish you say this word, as in the Bible, the way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof leads to great destruction. Thanks a million, more grace, dear, and stand strong. Thank you. Two, this one reads, we also did hygiene in school, Mommy Delhi. These are things we need to bring back. I'm sure, I don't know whether hygiene is not being taught, but I'm sure it should be taught. Yo, Mr. Leo. Greetings, Elvis from Bamenda. I'm enjoying the program. Thanks, man. Please greet the princess in the house today for me. Good night. Thank you, and good night to you too. Good evening, Mr. Leo. So happy for your program. Johnson is writing from Bonaberry. Please, I'm happy for sister and her advice, but please, can she help us write down things we should take from the white man or no? I'm sure Adele is going to answer to that. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I love the topic for today. Samgwa is writing from Bali Kumbat. Adele, somebody wants to hear you greet them in the dialect. And how proud are you of your culture as a lady from Gi, Momo Division, Northwest region of Cameroon?
I am very proud about it, and if you've known me, I talk about me being from Gi all the time. Then this is one of the things that I regret highly. I remember my dad used to literally whip us to speak in the dialect, and we had bought into the notion of, that peer pressure of you sound like a villager, or you sound you don't sound modern if you speak in the dialect. And we lost on the opportunity of learning our vernacular like that. It is now that I have to literally call back home and say, oh, how is this thing called, but at least I can greet by our charangwen, oh. My kid sister would fall on the floor right now and laugh out loud just hearing me trying to speak in the dialect, because it's something I used to run away from. And like I said, this is me now, my eyes being open to understand that you are more modern talking in your dialect than speaking English. And this is a conversation that most people have not come to terms with it. But hey, I'm learning it, okay?
You're learning it. How are you showcasing it to the world? You want Africans to be proud of who they are. You want them to also remain original. But isn't it also quite difficult staying original out there, especially as an African? Or you think it's easy?
Why is it difficult?
I don't know. So
because it's difficult, like I said, with the inferiority complex.
Mm-hmm.
See, Mr. Liu, the solution to most of our problems as Africans is enshrined in our culture. And this is one of the things that most Africans don't understand. The problems that you and I sit on here, talk about in the media, talk about, the solution is enshrined in our culture. Look at most of those African countries where I think somebody listed them, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, whose culture is in front of them like that. They're doing far better in a lot of things, because the world is tired of junk. People want authenticity. They want real things, and you cannot be real in some other person's culture far better than yours. They will not buy it. If an American wants something from an African, they go for the authentic ones. Those who can speak their dialect fluently and be proud about it. Those who carry their culture, dress properly and are proud about it. Those who still wear their kinky hair and know that, okay, this is us, this is we, this is me, this is my identity. So yes, that's it. Why is it difficult? Because like I said, we've been bought into the lies that the white man's own thing is better, or every other thing. In fact, somebody said you don't even need to go to America and the rest, just Nigeria. Cameroonians are rather speaking the pidgin, our own pidgin. So we prefer to talk pidgin, Niger pidgin, than to talk Pei pidgin. So we think say we talk Shebi, Shajo, Jare. It makes us more modern. You see how stupid we are. This is, like I said, the education that has not been passed down, and not in them, because they've not been told otherwise. So it is now that this change is coming, this crusading that was spearheaded. See why I talked about Old Pancho, see why International has been talking about 80-20. It is now that we are beginning to wake up. And I'm asking myself, Delhi, why you need to talk country talk? If I ask you why you need to talk country talk, why you need to talk? Like, do you think then I have to go and literally start with the vocabulary and start writing 1 or 2, 3 things down and say, no, I have to be intentional. And give me a year, and man, I'm going to be so fluent. So, and all of that. I'm just saying that we easily get drowned into it because, first of all, we are complex about our own. I have Nigerian friends over here. They teach their children Yoruba, Igbo. The children grew up in this place. Learn Igbo, they can speak it. When they go back to Africa, they fit in. They're not found wanting. They are there. You cannot gossip about them in the vernacular. They speak the dialect. They know what they're saying. They can hear you. And even with their British accent and everything, you can still tell that this is a well-raised African kid. So yes, if we begin to revisit all of these things, we would catch up again, I believe.
Now, when you look at Cameroon and Africa and the community life you talked about earlier on, and you also mentioned that love is very difficult, something that is very difficult to find amongst Cameroonians, especially after the wake of the Anglophone crisis. And when you look at the entertainment industry, do you understand why we fight each other with so much passion?
You said it's this fighting, Mr. Leo. It's not just in the entertainment industry. I think it's in every sector.
Okay.
You have people who would not always agree with you. You have people who are bitter. You have people who have their frustrations and their grievances. You have people who, for the most part, they're just trying to probe or, challenge maybe convictions, to probe further, not necessarily having issues. The entertainment industry in Cameroon, I talked about it extensively the last time. If for those of you who did not watch, you might want to watch. I was talking about having to educate the youth about the possibility of agriculture. We've been sold for a long time now, you have to get into entertainment industry and do all of these things, get skits and that. I'm in the entertainment industry, it is not really cashing out. And for the most part, it's not. I interviewed Kosi the other day. Kosi is one of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. And he was honest to say that, you know what, for the most part, these things it's just branding. It is just packaging. So coming back to what you're asking about the issues that we're plaguing, the money is not there. It's like it's usually people who don't have, sometimes it's hunger, sometimes it is how things have changed, the frustration of not meeting your loved ones. I see sometimes I get frustrated. The frustration of projects having been shattered, houses burnt. That in itself is traumatizing for an average Cameroonian, especially the Anglophones. So I think, and it has had a toll on every one of these sectors. So if I answered your question, but the bitterness is real. It's there, and I'm praying that we heal because we need it. I think there's such a thing as the trauma, this post-traumatic, there's something I learned in a psychology course, talking about the aftermath of war, how much work has to be done on Africans or Cameroonians after this war. I think these are the things we learn from the whites. So somebody asked that question, I hope I answered it. To understand that after a war, it has a toll on your mental state. And if we don't go through therapy as a nation, and I know what I'm saying, it sounds crazy, unfortunately, we would have breed a generation of angry and bitter souls forever, for eternity.
Okay. Thanks for inspiring Africans, and tell the princess that we adore her inspiration. Okay. This one is writing from the United States of America. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and thank you. Until I walked in Seoul, I didn't know the value of my culture, speaking the dialect amongst others. Before then, I felt speaking the dialect made me a villager. Then Seoul people made me realize I come from a village which has its own culture. I am not so fluent, but I am proud speaking in Mancon. Even when I make mistakes, there is just so much of our cultural identity which we have lost trying to be like others, whereas we can never be them. The solution to this lies in the hands of our families. Cultural associations and groups can also close the gap. Mr. Ngang Nelson is writing from Yaoundé. Okay. Hello, I'm Wisdom Awung, writing from the Southwest region, Boya. Thanks always for the talks. Daily Singah. we have to review our understanding of what the white brought to Africa, especially religion and technology. It is not true. Let us learn to understand that people develop things. It is just unfortunate for Africa that due to poor political environments, a lot of people with interest, learning and questions looking for answers tend to migrate to the West. Now the things develop feel like they are brought to us, but it isn't the case. Those things, technology, are developed by both blacks and whites. I'm not sure Delhi disputes that fact. Delhi, some people think that some of the platforms, especially social media platforms, are derailing many young Africans, especially by some persons who call themselves influencers like you, whose lives do not reflect and match what they tell the people. They see how the people live and cannot fathom how they can live like them, or they would want to also live like them without actually understanding their source of income. Most of you guys, especially influencers, give the impression that life is so easy. You live flamboyant life, and many young girls would want to live like you.
Yes, that's true for the most part. What they see in the media affects these young ladies a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have a burden for this generation. I have a burden for Cameroonian youths. I have a burden for their purpose, and just going through the right route. Yes, there are loads of influencers out there who are on teaching the messages some of us are teaching. Yeah. So when they come out there, they show this glitz and glam, the glamorous side out there. It's this young girl who is doing everything, studying in school, just wanting to come out and be a lady who is exposing herself on TikTok. You'll be amazed with people's goals nowadays, how much they have bought into that celebrity or that influencer who has all these designer things. I put a message on there the other day, and I said, people have bought into it. Also, people have to wear the fake version, intentionally wear the fake version, just to have a level of self-esteem about themselves. So to lie to themselves that they are wearing real things and to belong to a particular category of people. And I said that in itself is low self-esteem for the most part. And most of them do not understand that when you have to derive self-esteem from the out, like I was explaining to them, like beauty is inward out and not outward in. So what I've worn on me doesn't give me values. The values are inside. It's internal. It's inside of me that comes out. And so it is the confidence that I sit here and I exude that you admire, not whatever hair and clothes I'm wearing. I'm not saying these ones are not important, but when we begin to teach this younger generation that your values are what you have inside, it is your beauty emanates from inside out. This is what gives you value. Clothes don't give value to people. People give value to them. So it is not LV or Gucci or Prada and all of that makes me an amazing person. It is the values that have been inculcated in me that that makes me this amazing person. That's it. And that is what we have to pass on to them so that they don't go killing themselves trying to get things that are not necessary to want to belong. And, prove a point to people who, for the most part, don't care about them. And this is the message I'm trying to pass out there. But like I said, there are other influencers whose business in the media is just to show how they left one hotel, how they traveled to Dubai the other day. Now, it is their business, and this is not mine. That's why I don't get to address them. However, when I'm talking to these youths, I am bound to tell them, you see all of those things there, you don't know the source of it. And even if you know the source of it, it is not yours. So if you are confident in yourself, if you are, you've gotten to the point where you value yourself and the self-love in you you would hardly be pressured by the things you see in the media. So most of these young ones are pressured because they really see it and they want to become like it. But unfortunately, you cannot stop. The media is such a vast space, a big space where every junk and everything is put in there. Like I said, the only the only difference I can make is keep preaching the message, and those who care to listen will listen. I can't change the other influencers because they have their own audience, and some of them look at the messages I'm preaching as crap, and I can't change it.
Okay, dear Deli, I love your presentation. Thank you so much. Head ahead, you are talking about post-traumatic stress syndrome. That's the psychological condition. Fee is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Fee. Good evening to you in the studio. I love the topic for today. God bless you in the studio. I'm right from Mutengene. Jack Alain writing there from Mutengene. Deli, what is your opinion about most Cameroonian influencers? You are citing some names here. I will not want to call any name so that we don't create unnecessary polemics. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I like your program this evening. James is writing from Bamenda. Deli, how do we build synergy amongst Cameroonians at all the level? I'm talking about love that is absent in the industry, film, music, journalism, and a host of others. How do we support ourselves?
I think it starts from the individual levels. Okay, put out good content out there, and somehow it just attracts support. Secondly, become intentional about supporting other people. I started with good content because somehow there's a level of mediocrity that is promoted, that people would come up with any content and expect people to just support them because in the guise of we're supporting our own. I'm not saying that there's no place for encouragement and growth. I'm just saying that there's a kind of content that repels buyers. There's a kind of product and service you render that will repel people, So if you're in a restaurant, for instance, you're cooking, it is expected that at least you keep your environment clean. This is basic knowledge and it's common sense. So you don't come and there are flies all over and people don't come to eat at your restaurant and then you start saying that people are haters. That's why you see me, I'm very careful using the word haters. Just so that somebody doesn't differ with me because we have differences in ideologies or opinions, and then I look at the person as a hater. No, when I call you a hater, I know what I'm saying because I've asked a lot of questions about the circumstance and I tick you as a hater. So just so we understand that. So we're talking about supporting our own. Before people get to support you, be honest about your content. Be intentional and making it better. Because as good as whatever people say I am, I still get to read books, watch other people who are far ahead of me. I get to do research. I get to talk with other people, have talk shows, get feedbacks like that. That way I grow. That way I improve on myself. And this is expected of anybody who is putting a product or a service out there, So then being intentional as supporting each other. Yes, you can share the work of people who put it out in the media. You can, as much as buy your friend's work and all of that. I'm not saying buy anything. We've already talked about that. You can little as give a thumbs up on a post that somebody has written that you think is educative and you can promote. And as you're watching in the media right now and you think this is okay, you can as little as share, click on the share. When you say support our own, it doesn't mean we need millions and millions and millions. Yes, at the level of investments into businesses and all of that, yes, we could need some of those amounts, which is still support your own. But I'm talking about basic support. That is a given to each and every one of us. I think we can do it. So, yes.
Okay, Deli, what you're saying is that the take-home message this evening, because I will soon be having a 10-minute interview with Ms. Solange Rock. The take-home message today is for our young girls and boys not to flaunt the pictures of their boyfriends and girlfriends on their social media handles with the intention of holding them down or scaring away potential boyfriends and girlfriends.
So Well, take-home message. I don't want to make that a take-home message.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to make that a take-home message. However, because that is what brought up this particular conversation, I would love to talk about it and to say, and it is not at gunpoint. You want to do what you want to do, but I'm saying it is better for you to build your relationship at the background, understand your strengths, your weaknesses, understand the strengths and the weaknesses of the other person, make it formal and legal, then you can put it out there for your self-esteem, for your family name, and the possibility of not losing potential suitors that could come your way. So I'm not saying that if you put it out there, it would necessarily break. I'm not saying either that if you hide it, it would end up in marriage. I'm just saying that the pros of keeping your relationship at the background outweigh the cons. And I'm saying that the cons of putting it out there outweighs the pros. What am I saying? I'm saying that look deeply. Most of the relationships that are put out prematurely, how many of them end up successful? Because many people there are lots of people out there who want you to break. Somehow there's a spirit around this thing. The moment people cannot destroy what they don't know. That's one thing most people fail to understand. And if you're so confident about this relationship, why do you want to prove a point to people? Like I said at the beginning, you don't owe anybody a decent relationship. You don't owe anybody pepper them goals or relationship goals and all of that. This is you and this person intentional at getting your relationship to the next level. It is just common sense. But again, do what works for you and what you think is good for you. But, and if we can be honest with ourselves, majority of the relationships, for the most part, that are put out there prematurely ends up a disaster. You want to think about and ponder on this. And if I have a message to the Cameroonian youths listening to me, apart from these putting pictures out there, which is really nothing per se, I'll tell them, be purpose conscious, discover your purpose. One of the reasons why most youths are frustrated, depressed, and get into all manner of unscrupulous activities is, first of all, lack of self-love, and then a lack of a sense of purpose. They don't know why they were born. They don't know why they're here on earth. They don't know where they're going to. So, because if you know a man or a woman in purpose, you will not go to any place. You will not do things the way other people are doing it. You will not speak like other people are speaking. You will not have even your friends, even the way you dress, even the way you carry yourself, because you're a man in purpose. Your purpose is different. So the competition out there is pointless because everybody has a different route. And you be careful the people you are competing with, because they could clearly be heading towards a particular direction that is directly opposite to yours. So yes, I always use the example of a pregnant woman. A pregnant woman is somebody who carries a life, and this is what I relate to. I always use purpose to explain, to break down purpose. A pregnant woman carries a life. The pregnant woman doesn't dress anyhow, doesn't go to any place, doesn't run like every other person is running, because they carry a vision inside of them. They don't even eat anything. They don't even, all of these things. Look at the life of a pregnant woman and understand that you are different. So no, they want to wear some things, but yes, the thing they're carrying doesn't permit them. They want to eat, they want to go to some places, but the vision that is to be birthed doesn't permit them. So this is the take-home message for me, and I'll see you again on my platform, Delhi's Matchups or Delhi Singah Official on social media. Immense thank you to every one of you who have been listening to me. Immense thank you to all my followers. Immense thank you to this team, my Media Prime. Immense thank you to each and every one of them. And hey, let me conclude by saying, Macharam Benjum, Umokuma Delhi Singah, Delphine Singah, Madwa Ajengi, and Benembuni.
Yeah, but Delhi, many persons are expecting you in Cameroon. Hope you're coming soon.
I am. I'm going to let them know when I'm coming and how we're going to our movement, so to know where we're starting from and where we're ending. So yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Kum, and thank you for your team. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you to Delhi. We are going to be discussing this time around for 10 minutes with another lady all the way from Yaoundé, the nation's capital. She's called Solange Rock. Thank you, Delhi, for talking to Prime Hour this evening. Okay, she's gone. We are in the presence now of Solange. She's called Mama Solange Rock. She is a business consultant, a civil servant, and the wife of a pastor. Yes. We're glad to have you. You just rushed in from Yaoundé this evening.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Kum, for having me on the program. It's really not been easy to get here, but I'm so excited that I'm finally here.
Okay, she is here to tell us how we can create our own economy and earn passive income. When we talk about having our own economy and also earning passive income, what are we talking about, Solange Rock?
Yeah, Mr. Kum, you know, many years back we were told that education is the key to success. Mm-hmm. And we did all to go to school, have all the degrees. I'm sure today we have master's and PhD degrees that are almost like birth certificates because almost everybody has them. But still, a lot of frustration, a lot of people can't really find their way. But I came across a statement by Bill Gates where he said, the key to success or the secret to success is to know where the world is going to and go there first or try to go there first.
Yes.
And so in my discovery, I realized that the world has changed. The economy of the world has changed, but a lot of people are not aware of it. And so creating your own economy is simply understanding where the world is and going there.
When you talk about creating your own economy, you're talking about, I listened to a video where you talked about industrial to a connected revolution. There is a revolution that started with the industrial revolution.
Yes, sir.
And we are today at the connected revolution.
The connected revolution, yeah. So I'm sure we all know where we started with the industrial revolution. We went through the computer revolution and then the internet revolution. And then we are now with the connected revolution. Many people didn't know when we got into the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of us were struggling to survive. At that same period, many other people were making millions of money because they understood that there have been a shift. And that shift was what brought us into the connected economy. And in this connected economy, we just have three types of people. We call them connectors. You are either connecting people to other people, you are connecting people to services, or you're connecting people to products. That is what that's the sense of the connected economy.
You're connecting people to...
You connect people to people, like what Mark Zuckerberg is doing on Facebook, and making millions. I'm sure he's one of the richest young men in the world today, just simply connecting people to other people. We have people connecting people to services, like what Yango is doing, the transportation service. You know, connecting people. Yango does not have any one taxi on the road, yet they are making a lot of money from people. And then we have others now. The final connectors are those who connect people to products.
People to products.
Yes.
Now, I don't know, Mrs. Solange Rock,
yes,
you want people to get to the connected revolution.
Yes, sir.
You want to connect people to people. How do we succeed to getting to be part of the connected revolution?
Yeah, there are two types of people who are supposed to be in the connected economy. We have people who have the ability or the capability to create systems. Like I've talked about the Mark Zuckerberg, we have the Jeff Bezos of Amazon, we have Jumia. Those are people who have created systems. But there are other people who don't have those abilities to create systems. What can they do? They have to plug into these already existing systems to be able to make money. So many millionaires have popped up from Amazon and Jumia and all the other services, just simply plugging into the system. So what we are trying to let people know, especially our brothers and sisters in Cameroon, is that with this shift, we should all try to connect to a system so that we can also be making money from it.
Yes, connecting to systems. You know, when Cameroonians hear about such things, connecting to make money, they get very scared because we have had very, very disappointing experiences where persons will come and... What is this system that you're talking about?
Yeah, we actually abbreviated system to be, you know, it's like an easy way of making money. In the connected economy, you don't work hard, you work smart. That is simply solving problems for people, identifying where people have problems and solving the problems. And so when I'm talking about the system, it's like you know people have needs in a particular area of products. Like today, so many people don't have the time to go to markets, go to shops again. So there are people who are like mediators. When you go on social media, you meet people selling clothes. In fact, I have the contact of somebody who sells vegetables online. So what they are trying to do is to be a connector between the people who need it and the people who have it. Yes. So when we are talking about system, it's just a simple
plugging into an existing system
yeah,
that connects
simply connecting people to, like, as simple as recommendation. Yes, recommending. We have people who connect people to their tailors, hairdressers, but you really never get paid. Meanwhile, for those services, there are systems where they can tell you that if you bring me 2 people to buy my product, you are going to have a commission for it. So that's just the simple understanding.
How do we study or learn to be a connector within the existing system?
That is why we are inviting the people of Douala to our seminar on Sunday, so that they can come and really get the understanding, to know how you can connect, the kind of places you can connect with, because you don't just connect just to any system. Now, there are people who are still in the traditional business system who don't know about this. Now, having this understanding, you can walk up to somebody and tell the person, do you know I can help you get more sales with your business? And then you get to talk with the person, and that is business for you. Yeah, so those are things that a lot of people don't know. So in our seminar, we are hoping that will really enlighten Cameroonians on many of these things.
That is, you are somebody, you want to earn money, you connect persons to the system.
Yeah, that is to say, you know, the way the world is going, a lot of people have been job seekers and instead getting more frustrated because our government can't really employ as many people as we think. Many governments today are desiring to reduce their payroll. So the best thing that can happen to us, where the world is going to, is in the area of business. And so we are encouraging people to get into business. Now, everybody can't have a shop. Everybody can't do a traditional kind of business. So we are encouraging people to be able to upgrade, as the world has also upgraded, to be able to make money even from some of these. When I call system, it's just like a word we use for the connected economy. Maybe I should say company, or I should say business, or I should say market, so people can better understand.
To get connected, do you need to pay some money to get connected?
You really don't need to pay any money. No, you don't
because
have to.
Because people are
pay.
scared when they say, come and make money by putting money.
No.
Many persons get scared.
No, that's why I say if you cannot create a system, somebody who creates a system will need money, capital to create. Somebody who does not have money can be able to plug into that system and still benefit. Yes. So we have a lot of young ladies today who sell dresses online. They didn't pay for those dresses. They simply post the pictures. You pick what you want. They go to the shop, collect it, come and give you, and you pay them.
Now, how does it operate once you get connected to the system? You need an Android phone? You need a computer?
Of course, you are going to need an Android phone because in the connected economy, we simply move on social media. Yes, so you can connect people from anywhere, Boya, Limbe, wherever you are. Somebody can be in Douala and be selling to somebody in Gaundere. That's just how it
Do you
functions.
need some special classes to know how to get connected?
Not really special classes. What we just a normal training just to teach you, but not really a kind of formal kind of training. Yes, but it's like an ongoing, while you are already into the system, we just teach you how to work things out.
Yeah, but the system, how authentic is the system? Is this not some scheme that will get people's time wasted?
No, really, no. I'm sure we already have a lot of people. Unfortunately, I didn't come with some of my team members because of the little challenge we have. Yes, so if it was a scam, maybe I'm not sure I would have been involved in it. Yeah, so it's not a scam. What we simply do is help Cameroonians come out of poverty. And it's a system that has been existing, so, and it's still going to continue. So
You say it is aimed at creating individual economies and earn passive income.
passive income, yeah.
What's passive income?
Passive income is income above your expenses. That is making money, not necessarily because you are seated somewhere to do a particular job. So you can, to create passive income is creating a system that can work for you even when you are not there present to do the work. Yeah.
Okay, so where is the seminar holding?
Valet de Prince Hotel at Besenge.
Okay, on Sunday.
On Sunday, the 30th of October.
Okay, so if you're watching us and you are resident in Douala or out of Douala and you want to be part of this seminar to learn how to create your own economy and also create passive income for yourself, you should call me using the numbers on your screen, or you call, yes, I will get you connected to Mrs. Solange Rock, who is a business consultant resident in Yaoundé. You are a civil servant.
Yes, sir.
And you are the pastor's wife.
Yes, sir.
And but Oga Pastor, he's very comfortable with what you're doing?
Of course. He knows I'm helping young Cameroonians, so he obviously has to be comfortable.
You have been in this system for how long?
Yeah, for about, I'm sure, getting to 6 years now.
You have been in this system?
That I've been, yes, that I've been in business, helping other Cameroonians to identify their sheep. Yeah, so I am a civil servant, sir, and the desire of many Cameroonians is to be civil servants. So me diversifying is to tell a lot of Cameroonians that if you really desire to make money, to get to be comfortable, civil service won't really give you what you are looking for.
Okay, so you need to go the extra mile.
That is it. You must have a second source of income. You must diversify.
So if you intend to diversify, make much money than you are making today, do well to send me a text message after this program so that I can share Mrs. Solange Rock's number with you. If you are living in Douala, make sure you attend the seminar at Besenge, Valet de Prince Hotel. What time?
It's at 1 p.m.
Okay. The time is 1 p.m. So you can go to church, and after church you go to Valet de Prince Hotel out there in Besenge so that you can learn how to make some money. Even if you were in Boya Limbe and some loom, you can come down. If you're in Suza, wherever you are, you can come down and learn how to make money by working smart. That's the word you used.
Yeah, working smart.
Okay. We want to thank you also for coming, though you came somewhat late.
Yeah, I had a little challenge on the way. We almost lost somebody in our bus.
Wow.
We had a lady who collapsed in the bus, so we had to attend to her.
You had to fire prayer?
Yeah, fire prayer, and also we had nurses in the bus who were also attending to her.
Okay, so one last word to those watching you now.
Yeah, fellow Cameroonians, like I said, on Sunday we are going to be dishing out a lot of information as regards those who want to get into business. There are so many people who have money and want to invest, but they don't know where to invest or how to invest. So our seminar is going to help you to have understanding on what to do. And so I'm encouraging the entire population of Douala, mothers, fathers, young boys and young girls to rally in that seminar on Sunday, and I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We are also very happy that you came all the way from Yaoundé to be part of this show this evening. To conclude the discussion, we started with Deli Singah, one of Cameroon's most outstanding influencers. We are also very grateful to you, Deli, for coming to talk to Cameroonians on Prime this last edition for the week. Thank you to Desmond and Eli for producing Prime throughout the week, and also to you, Ms. Solange Rock. We wish you the best for your seminar, and to all of you who have watched the program throughout the week, we say we remain immensely grateful, wishing you a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.
Black n'est pas sombre, c'est brillant. Black est audacieux. Black, c'est la fusion de couleurs en une seule.